Hello there, this is Tamil, and today I wanted to go over some cool features in Clip Studio Paint that I wish I knew when I was starting out digitally, and specifically I'm gonna go over some features that will help you to get faster and better at lining artwork. And if you want to get into comics or maybe webtoon or even just improve your line work in general, then this is gonna be a video for you. So let's just get started. Alrighty, so we have Clip Studio Paint open, we have this cool drawing open, and I'm just going to share some tips that I personally use in my art to get billions of likes on my Instagram and then get people to commission me for 25 cents per drawing like this. So if you want to be like me, then follow along. I hope this is going to be helpful to somebody. First thing that I like to use, and I'm gonna recommend doing this to everyone, and we're gonna have a layer panel open, so it's gonna be right here, and I like to use vector layers. Vector layers are really good. I made like a whole separate video for this, so if you want to check that out. But quickly, if you click this little button next to normal make a new layer like this, so now any brush that I'm going to use is going to be a vector layer. And if you don't know what vector is, it's basically like Clip Studio Paint does math. Instead of putting a line on the canvas, so you can make it as big and as small as possible. It's not going to lose any quality, but that's not like even the best part about this. And so for example, let's say we have this guy, and we're just going to go into ink, and I'm going to pick like anything, let's say like textured pen, like a little heart. Little heart, XOXO, because he's like a hot boy. He works out every day. He wants some love, and so we have this, right? But let's say it's a little bit too thin for my taste, and I don't like this. Well, there's bencher tools in Clip Studio Paint that will allow you to adjust this after the fact. Usually it's at the bottom, and you're gonna see a correct line. That's gonna be all of the stuff that you can use to modify your line work in your art. And so for example, this is gonna be adjust line width, and you can see there's different modes in tool property. If you don't see this, you can go into window, tool property, and I can adjust this to anything I want. So let's say I want thicken by 4 points, and if I go over it just like this, it's gonna thicken my artwork a little bit. You see? So this is like a super cool and easy way to adjust your work after the fact. Or if I, don't like this and I want to make it thinner, so I can go into narrow, and I can go into maybe 1.5, and then I can make this part thinner, but this part is going to be like, I want to make it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to put like 1 point like this. And so you can play with this as much as you want, which I think is like the best feature of all time. Also, one of the things that I love to use is, for example, you have this circle and you have this line. In here, you're gonna see eraser, and in here, you can see vector eraser. And so vector eraser allows us, so let me get a hard brush. So you can see vector eraser sitting right here. And this will allow us to differently erase the vector lines in our artwork. So you can see erase whole line, erase up to intersection, erase touched areas. So if I go erase up to intersection, I can just do this, and it removes up to that point. So it makes it super easy to edit line work, to erase line work, to make it like more clean. Alrighty, so what's the next thing I can adjust to make it easier to work with? In my opinion, for inking specifically, you can use pressure. So pressure curve is something that I highly recommend people to check out. So first, there's a general pressure curve. So like for everything, if you click on the Clip Studio Paint logo and you go into pen pressure settings, usually looks like this. This is untouched pressure. And if you go like this, it's going to make it super easy for you to get pressure. It's going to get more sensitive. And if you go more like that, and then you have to really press hard on your screen, for this pressure to show up. So if you don't know how pressure works, you press on it, like you press hard on your screen, and it makes thicker lines. Or you can go like very thin and go like this. But also, besides the global Clip Studio Paint settings, you can go into pen. So each pen will have its own settings that are used to create art. So if you go into any pen, let's say we have G Pen, right? In tool property, you're going to go into window, tool property, or it's going to be open for you. In here, you can see brush size, and brush size will use pen pressure and tilt to create the thickness. So tilt is going to be like up and down, like different angles. So let's say I don't want that. And pen pressure is gonna be how hard you press on the screen. So this is like a very simple way to make an inking brush. Is just you get a regular brush, and then you put the pen pressure in your settings. So as you can see, the harder I press, the more ink will come out. And this is pen pressure setting curve that we have on our brush right now. And usually, again, I was doing that a little bit like easier time. And you can see that it changes our brush. So it's going to be a lot thicker when I press, but it's going to be getting very, very thin on the tips. And so if I remove it, this is going to be like regular. And the setting I like to mess around with is minimum value. And personally, when I draw like very light like this, it's like way too thin. I don't really like this. And so that's why I like to put minimum value. So minimum value is gonna let you change like the tips right here to a specific point that you like to use this for. So I usually put it up to like 10 or sometimes like 15. And so this way, when I don't apply any pressure, it's gonna be like this. And then I can really make it like a little bit thicker. And so maybe this time I'm gonna put it up to 10, and I'm gonna do it a little bit like this. And so now I have a little bit more control over how my lines look when I'm drawing with Clip Studio Paint. And I think that's what this is all about, is just more control and knowing what you want out of your kind of like artwork and what you want out of Clip Studio Paint. And I think that's like one of the main things that I was frustrated with when I started digital. It's like I want this line, but I don't know how to get that. So hopefully this was helpful for pressure, and you can adjust this as you want. And I really like default brushes in Clip Studio Paint, but they don't have that many textured pens. I like to add more textured stuff. So in Clip Studio Paint, you can go to a store, which is Clip Studio Paint, like digital store, that will allow us to download pretty much any brush that anyone ever created, which I love this function that people can share their brushes for free. A lot of them are completely free. So what we're gonna do, on the iPad, it's a little bit different to add brushes, but it might be even easier when you do it on a computer. So let's just get into how to do that. So we can go into any brush settings right here. We can see all our brushes, and we can go into add subtool. If we click that, there's going to be a little button that says search for materials, and searching for materials on assets is how we add stuff. So it's going to send us into our link. So it's going to be assets, Clip Studio Paint, and it's already giving us pen type. We're looking for a brush, we're looking for paint, and we're looking for paint debut. So all of these are filtered for us already. These are all going to be inking brushes that are like, it's so easy to add this. All you have to do is just to log in into your account. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And so let's say I really love this neon pen. So I'm gonna click on the neon pen, and once I click here, I'm gonna click download. And in here, there's gonna be open link to external app, and I'm just gonna say yes. And then I just need to log in through my CSP on my iPad as well. So I'm gonna click OK. I'm going to add subtool, and you can see it downloaded our brushes in here, and you can see this brush and this brush. So I have two brushes right now, and I just can click this and add to palette. So now that brush that we found on Clip Studio Paint Asset Store is going to be in here, and I can use it for free. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to credit anybody. This is my brush now. And one of the things that I want to touch upon as like last minute resort is the fact that you can also really adjust how your line is for cleanliness. So there's many buttons that you can click on, but if you click this little gear icon for tool property, there's many things here, but what you can do is correction, and in correction you're going to see a lot of functions. We can see that there's stabilization, and it's set at 6, and I like to set my stabilization to like 1 or 2 so that I have like a more free hand feel to my line work, because if you go too high, let's say like 50, then it's gonna first start falling behind, which feels unnatural, and it's just not gonna look pretty. And also if I do like a very I want like sharper angles, it's not letting me. So be very careful when you use stabilization. I think stabilization is great, but very like specific scenarios. I try to keep it low, but if your hands are a little bit like this, when you had like 10 coffees, I mean I had 20 right now, but my hands are pretty still. Stabilization is going to be right there. You can adjust it. There's also cool thing for tapering. So tapering will allow you to kind of leave this kind of like faking it a little bit. So even if you don't have perfect line, it's gonna taper it for you. And if you really push it, it's gonna taper it more and more and more. Like you can see, this gets like super tiny, which some people prefer this, and some people like wanna have this at the end. So that's what tapering does. There's also post correction, which is one of those things that sometimes it works miraculously, and sometimes it's just like, ugh, I don't like this. So post correction is gonna adjust your line work after the fact. So I'm gonna let go, and you can see that it adjusted the line work for you, and it's really cool for like specific angles. So let's say I want something that like this and like this, and you can see it's wobbly here, and then boom, it like post corrected for me. So if you want like a very geometrical line work, you can really push this, or you can just keep it like at 1, and then it's gonna post correct it like a little bit, but not too much. And you can also see that if you push the post correction like too much, I couldn't even draw a circle because it thinks that I don't want a circle, and it really does like weird stuff for your artwork. So be very careful with these. I really think that everyone could try to use these and check them out. I think they're really awesome. But if you mess up with this too much, you can also go to reset all settings to default. Just click OK, and then that's it. That's now going to how it was before. And also, if you like to keep it forever, let's say I want stabilization to be at 2 forever, I don't really care about anything else, I can say save all settings as default. So now every time I open this brush or I use this brush, it's always going to be at stabilization 2. So I really hope this was useful, and I really enjoyed making this tutorial. Please let me know if you have like any questions. There's going to be an article in the description for this tutorial if you want like a written version of this, but otherwise I really appreciate you watching. If you could just like video, maybe share it with some other Clip Studio Paint homies, I'd really appreciate that. But happy painting, and please just keep drawing. Thank you so much.